Welcome back on the canvas, where we dive into the minds and journeys of contemporary artists shaping the visual landscape today. In this episode, we are honored to sit with South African visual artist Nthabiseng Boledi Kekana, a rising voice whose works explore spirituality, healing, and the unseen through bold abstractions and texture-rich compositions. Born and raised in South Africa, Nthabiseng's practice is deeply rooted in a cultural heritage and her personal introspection, often inviting viewers to reflect on memory, spirit, and transformation. In 2023, she was the youngest artist to be invited to the Makwande Art Residency in France, an experience that not only expanded her artistic process, but also marked a turning point in a creative journey. Today, we explore how that time abroad influenced her body of work, her growth as an artist, and how the residency continues to shape her vision and practice back home. Join us as we unpack the spirit, stories, and the strokes behind her evolving canvases. Sisi, welcome to On the Canvas.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be back home. Thank you so much.
It is an honor. It is an honor to have you with us, Sisi. The first question that I would like to ask you is, can you please, for those who do not know you, can you please describe to us the central themes and the intentions that drive your artistic practice?
Thokozani, my work is centered around many themes, but the major theme that encompasses the whole aspect of my creativity is spirituality and the stories our grandmothers and those who came before us told. It's about mythology and also the memories that they carved that are still intact in our DNA, so that we remember ourselves and that we know the way forward. And also I focus so much on the feminine body, because also it's that portal, that womb that we are all coming from. The female to me symbolizes the body of water, because water always remembers. Thank you.
You started your answer with a very particular word. You said Thokozani. Why? Can you tell us?
So much has happened since my residency in 2023. I'm going to reintroduce myself. Igama nginguNthabiseng Boledi Kekana. Ngihamba namatebele. Ngihamba nabenguni. Ngihamba nabenda. I am now a traditional healer based in different mediums of healing. That's why it's Thokozani.
Thokozani.
Thokozani. Are you crying? I see. Okay.
Nthabiseng, I would like you to talk to us about what it actually means to be a traditional healer, because as an African, as the daughter of the soil, I know exactly what it means, and that's why I was extremely emotional when you reintroduced yourself. But our viewers may not all come from the same background and culture. So I wanted you to just tell us, what does it mean when you say you are a traditional healer and that you're walking with these spirits?
When I say I'm a traditional healer, I am a sangoma who was called by Ingoma. I'm saying I am the keeper of ancestral memories, keeper of ancestral wisdoms and stories, keeper of the ways my ancestors used to heal using nature. I am the custodian of all that is ancient that runs through their blood, which runs through me. That's when I need thinking I'm a traditional healer. I say that I'm a custodian.
You're a custodian. Okay, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. All I hear is responsibility.
Buningi, buningi, buningi.
For such a young girl, all I hear is lots and lots, huge responsibility. But
yes,
I'm also aware that they chose the right girl. Talkers. I want us to talk about the Makwande Art Residency. I want us to go back to the time when this sentence made sense to you. The eyes are useless when the mind is blind.
I'm smiling because I can still see that canvas that I wrote in that when I was there in the studio. It's literally facing me right now.
I can see it too.
Yeah. The eyes are useless when the mind is blind.
When the mind is blind.
But I get goosebumps every time.
Why?
It goes beyond. It goes beyond our human abilities, and that you can have hands and those hands are still useless if they're not used in a way that serves and offers. You can have a gift, but if it's not used in a way that offers and heals and serves, what's the point of it? So it goes beyond our human abilities and the physicalities of these features that we have. But if you are not led by spirit, if you are not serving from a place of light, and if you are not being your authentic self to the world,
yes, it's useless.
It's useless.
It takes me back to a ceremony in church when I was young. And it still rings in my mind when my dad used to say that you need to hear beyond your ears. You need to learn to hear beyond your physical ears. You need to see beyond your physical eyes. You need to smell beyond your physical nose. You need to talk beyond your physical mouth. And as a child, those words, I remember them because as a child, even as a child, I understood what he's saying was something that was extremely meaningful and that needed to carry me for a very long time, especially the talking, you know. He used to say that if you are aware that what you're going to say is poison, let it not come out of your mouth. Only what heals and what is pure must come out of your mouth. Those are the things that I still try even today to live by. So the capacity to use these features beyond the physical aspect of them and really go beyond that for me is something that even now I search to see beyond what is unseen, to hear beyond what is unheard, to smell beyond what my physical nose is saying, and to talk beyond what I would want to say, but what needs to come out. This sentence was extremely important during your residency. I mean, like, it did not just touch you, but it also touched us, the people that worked with you and the people that came to your space. Tell me, when you were chosen as the youngest recipient of the Makwande Art Residency, how did that feel? When I gave you that call and I said, it's happening, you are coming to France. How did that feel, sis?
I was in shock. When someone says something and okay, you're approach, you can hear. But then after you drop the phone call, you are now with, oh shoot, it's happening. Because I watched literally my big sisters, Obolulama. I watched Lesego, and it was like year after year. It was like one day I'm there. And when they were occupying those spaces, I was there with them spiritually. And I was so excited. And when my turn finally came, it was all sorts of emotions. I was scared. I was excited. I was nervous. But yeah, and when I told my families and my friends, ah, yeah, it's, I can still remember the excitement. They were more excited than I was. Yeah. Because I was like freaking out. I was freaking out. But it also like, I was grateful more than anything. Which I was deemed worthy to walk and come there to be a part of this community that has showcased and given space to the ladies whom I call and refer to my big sisters, the space. So it was a privilege and an honor to be called. Yeah.
I remember it. I remember it very well because the preparations to that were uncertain. There were so many uncertainties, but we wanted it. And because we wanted it, we made it work. We made it work. Mm-hmm. So that is the beginning. However, the reality is something else. I want us to talk about reality now. How was it now? Taking your flight from South Africa and arriving in France, culturally, emotionally. What were your thoughts? What were you going through, especially that first week? Because I know it's the most exciting, but at the same time, it is the hardest.
When I arrived at Dawn, I keep on saying this. My friends keep on asking when I arrived, what did you feel? I wanted to go back home.
Yeah, you say that.
I still keep I still stick to that because I maybe tricky. No, I'm being real. I was scared because when I had a layover in Dubai, it was still okay. I'm here, sharp, sharp. But then when I was boarding my flight to come to Nice,
it hit you.
I was the minority in that flight. First day. I was the minority. I could count the people of color that were in that flight. And that's when reality was starting to hit in. Okay, these are languages that people are now speaking in. Only I just heard few people saying English words. Okay, they're speaking in English, I can understand. Okay, that still feels familiar. Okay, I can, I can anchor to them if I'm lost or if I'm confused. Yeah. Yeah. And then when we boarded, the flight attendants, it was in French. It was in French and English. I was like, Kosi yami, Kosi yami. I was freaking out. Then we landed in Nice. I wanted my mom. I remember when I was claiming my luggage, I wanted my mom because it was the furthest I've been away from my mom. I was the furthest. So it was, and I'm an only child. And it's been me and my mom. So I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. But then I saw your face and then I saw home. I was like, when I saw your face, it was also that home soil. And I was like, thank God, thank you. Because also the customs, they were asking me, so what are you here to do? what do you, and I'm just a girl who's an artist. So yeah, so how are you funding this? And I was like, guys, I got my visa already. Let me go. You know. So yeah, I was freaking out. Then I went to, he showed me my space.
Your apartment, yeah.
My apartment, beautiful. But I was not sure. It was my first time living alone. It is. I was like, okay, beautiful. I think it took a couple of days. Let's say on the fourth day, I was okay. This is a beautiful space. And then the time zones, the sun sets at 11. I'm calling my mom. She's asking where I'm at. I'm at the beach. Why is there sun? I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm showing her. I'm just like, look, the
sun does not set.
it's 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 like 10 p.m. The sun is not setting. I'm there by the beach. It's humid. It's hot. People are swimming. It is just cultural shock. Cultural shock. And I'm just like, and then also the safety that as much as I felt away from home after the 4 days, I felt very confident walking without, having to look back. Is there someone following me? I can hold my phone confidently, I'm not going to be mugged also. It's just, and also I'm a girl coming from the country that I come from, you constantly have to be vigilant of your surroundings, before you place yourself. But there I found, okay, I can wear this and I'm not going to be sexualized. I'm not going to be objectified. People were walking with shorts and their bikinis. And I'm just like, this is normal. So as much as there was a cultural shock also, but there was a beauty of the embrace. I was starting to embrace it. And, it's like, wow, I feel good being a woman here, as much as I'm the minority. And I didn't face any racism. Thank God. The community that I was surrounded with was love. It was, they wanted to make me comfortable. They were also, quite vigilant with, if I'm in their space, in their setting, they try to speak as much as like English, so I'm part of the conversation. I was like, oh gosh. And they were also struggling with speaking English because French is their mother tongue. So I'm just like, I'm trying to grasp, but kunzima. But then I was just appreciating those efforts. So yeah.
I think it's important to mention that that community was La Station, the artist at La Station where
Yes.
you had your studio. It is true that that partnership was extremely important, because having your first time being in France and having your own studio as well, being accommodated by other artists, but also artists that understand what it means to leave your country, because they also have done residencies in other places, and what it means when you are completely by yourself. I think that is why also the artists at La Station were just so amazing. They were just amazing.
Mm. That's true.
There's a story that I want you to retell us. Is the story when you felt so confident by the beach that you even went and you bought your first ice cream, because even that was difficult, to be able to say, I'm going to go there, I'm going to talk to them, and I'm going to ask for ice cream, because you called
Yeah.
and you were in your apartment. You were staying, like seriously staying in your apartment, not moving. And I had to
Yes.
talk to you about closing yourself in that space, and
Mm.
and asking you to go out, because that's where the through experiences were to happen, and you were really scared at that stage. And I remember you calling me, and then you saying to me, Sissy, guess what I just did? And I asked you, and you said, I just bought ice cream.
So I think it was my second day.
Second day.
how this thing. I went to the market, well, to get groceries. The first day I was like, okay, I'll just have takeout because I'm tired. The second day I went to the groceries just down the road. And when I went to the cashier, she didn't speak any English. And I feel like also that traumatized me because I was like, oh my God, so what are we going to do? What are you asking of me? Like, how can we communicate with each other? I was very frightened. After that experience, it was when I actually shut myself. I was like, oh my God. Luckily, there was an English lady from England who spoke French. And she was the one who assisted us because also there was a queue. So it was that anxiety. I'm now holding back this line and I need these things. I like at that point, I just wanted to drop everything. I just wanted to say, Sissy, sorry, you can keep your groceries. I'm going back to my apartment. I'll make a plan with see what I'm going to eat. But luckily that lady helped. And after that, I was just so traumatized. I was like, oh my God. There are speaking people who don't speak English at all. And I was like, okay. And I loved that also. But for me, coming from my side, I'm a foreigner. And the only language that I could communicate is English. Because I can't speak Spedi with them, Zulu, you know. So after then, I closed myself. I remember I just stayed and I was in my apartment the whole time. I'd wake up, just open the window, look at people. Wow, nice. And then, and I wanted ice cream because I knew the place also I was around, had beautiful, delicious gelatos and what's so not. And there was a beach just down there, and I wanted that. And I spoke to you. We had a phone call. You were just, yeah, it was that oomph that I needed. Which, okay, no, girl, you're not here for forever. Use this experience and embrace it, and just not jump into the deep end, but enter those waters slowly, just by getting the ice cream. So next time I can go to the butcher and get my meat. So I went and I ordered ice cream. I just say, bonjour, can I have ice cream, please? And they were like, okay, which one? In their accent. I was like, oh, okay, cool. But then some were speaking in French. I'll just point this one confidently. And I got my ice cream. And it was the happiest moment. And I walked to the beach and I sat there by the rocks and I was people watching and I was having my ice cream. And it was one of the most beautiful experiences that I had there. And I was smiling and I was confident also in my own skin to just sit there and occupy that space because I was nervous. First, I didn't even want to go by the rocks. I'd be there by
the benches.
what do you think? Yes, I'll be there by the benches, but I wanted so bad to go by the waters just to touch and feel the waters. But then that day I got my ice cream and I sat there proudly and I was smiling confidently. I was saying, yes, this is me. And I remember also I called my friend, video called my friend Renee, and I was literally showing her. There's a screenshot also that she took of me smiling with my ice cream. And then I called my mom. It was beautiful.
So this new environment, I'm sure that it really had a lot of influence when it comes to the works that you produced in France.
Yes, it did. It did. The first week I was actually the first few weeks it was a challenge because I had an idea of what I wanted to create when I was still in South Africa. And then after the cultural shock and also embracing the culture, there was a whole completely new direction that the works were taking place. And it was also the museum tours that you were taking me to, and also the history of those works that I was seeing that were inspired by the place that I was now, occupying. The works took their own direction. I didn't plan anything, and I was just influenced by also the artist at La Station. And I was influenced by the museums. I was influenced by the culture of Nice and France in general. And I was influenced by just the everyday stories of people, also climatizing and bringing all together my personal experiences, which is still rooted in spirituality. It was just a completely different language that I was trying to merge the two, which I believe came out beautifully.
Oh, yes, it did. Oh, yes, it did. The body of works that you produced in the south of France are beyond their time. Tell me though, how was it like having your own studio as your working space? Because back home, now you have your own studio in South Africa. As you can see, we are recording this from your own studio in South Africa. But before the residency, you were literally producing from your room. And when you arrived at the residency, you had an amazing big studio. How did that feel for you? And did it also contribute to the type of works that you produced during your residency in France?
Having my own studio in France was life-changing because it paved the way for where I'm at right now. It showed me what is possible because when I was in France, I've always wanted to create bigger works because there were works that needed to be on a bigger scale because of the story that they they told. So having my studio in France was empowering in a way because when I got home, I was like, I can't go back. So it laid a foundation already. I was like, there was already a standard that was paved. And I was like, no. And when I came back home, I think after a month, I got my studio, my first studio. And now I'm living an answered prayer, basically. And it has now I can, yeah, produce bigger, whichever size I want.
It
So yeah.
makes me so proud. Um, I don't think you can imagine to what point it makes me proud because I've been to your home in Soweto, not Soweto,
Alex.
Alex.
Yeah.
I've been to your home in Alex, and I was in your room, and where you produced, and to be able to see where you are today, having your own space and producing as many works as you want without having to sleep with paint, because health-wise also that was a huge health risk for you,
Mm.
and something that you did because you needed to paint. But now to be able to be in your own studio, in your own space, and to be able to experiment, welcome guests, welcome collectors so that they can come and see you and visit you, art lovers to be able to come because it's not possible to invite your people, into your room. But
Yeah,
now
my mom was sick of me because everything had paint. So she was sick.
I mean, like, I remember when I went to your house, she was telling me that there's paint in the sofas. No, but it completely changes the parameters because now you are in a position to have even international people that are coming to South Africa to experiment a South African culture and heritage. That can easily reach out to you and be able to say, can we come and visit you in your studio? And you are not embarrassed. You know that you have your space. It's so empowering and it's so important. So I'm extremely, extremely proud of that. Tell me, the body of work that you produced in France, do you have any work that you felt, oh my God, here, this work, I'm breaking all the boundaries. This work, something new is coming out. Do you have a work that came out that really shook you?
The one work that's still one of, it's not the only one, you know. One of the works that still is dear to my heart that I produced during the residency is Nthabiseng Boledi Kekana,
Which is
translating to the prayers of Barapedis. It can be translated into different words. Prayers of the priests or those who pray, of our ancestors, of it can even be your mother because your mother is a prayer, you know, your grandmother. So that work, it's still, as much as my style continuously evolves, but there's still that essence that still remains within the works. But with that piece, I am still seeing that those roots that I had planted in that painting have now expanded. I don't know what it is, but it's still, I'm still so obsessed with it. Every time I see it, I get goosebumps because I'm just like, even the title, Barapedi, because now it has, you know, it's like it was a premonition of where I'm at right now. It's the prayers of my ancestors, prayers of those who came before me. And now I'm also a prayer because I'm now the custodian of their prayers. So, yeah, no, that piece still speaks to so much because also it has the essence of France, particularly the colors of Pablo Picasso, those when he had his pastel, very cold, moody palette. So it's the whites, those pastel yellows, and you know the very subtle browns and stuff. So yes, it has both of
of the world.
both of yes,
It has
of the two worlds.
it has the yin and the yang.
Yes.
Because that's what I felt when I first saw it coming into life. I thought to myself, oh my God, we are defining the yin and the yang here. Can you share with us in terms of your production or maybe visiting museums within the residency, some of your beautiful moments, as much as there were challenges, I would love to hear also the beautiful moments that you had.
Oh, there was so many beautiful moments. So many actually. They outweighed the downs actually. Because it was only those 2, 3 days, you know, those moments that were, you know. But we went to that museum where I saw the Alberto Giacometti
Oh,
sculpture.
yes, yes, yeah. It was the Foundation Maga. Yes.
Oh my God. I was actually looking through because this past month I've been reminiscing about my time there. So, but that sculpture, and it was, I think, maybe the second time I've heard of the artist, and I only knew of his drawings. But then I saw that sculpture. My word. My God. I was touched beyond. I was actually speechless. I still don't have the words to put to what that sculpture did to me. And also Gwanda made, I was grateful for her being there because, you know, it I became a big sister also
In
when
the big
she was
city.
there.
I was
I
no
became
longer.
a big, you were the auntie. You were the auntie. You were the auntie. So, but like, I became a big sister. And I take that responsibility very serious. Being an only child, I take it very serious when I'm responsible of my young cousins and stuff. So when she came, I feel like just the moments in the studio, being with her, going and ordering and getting ice cream or walking and going to the shops, going to buy some bathing suits at H&M, those moments, and us recording ourselves at night as girls and just dancing and having these French women passing and just, in awe and just being happy for us dancing. It was those moments. And then we went to the beach. I think it was, I don't want to say your 4th of July, but it was the day where there were
The
fireworks.
Yes,
And
I remember.
it was so spontaneous. We just walked to the beach. It was like, okay, we had ice cream and we walked to the beach. And there was a huge crowd. We didn't know what was happening. And we decided to go and sit by the rocks. And then the show started. Literally, we were in the center of the fireworks coming there by the ocean. We were like, what the hell is happening? So it was those spontaneous moments where you are just finding yourself in those spaces, and then the most magical things happen. Yeah, and also being with you. Ah, man. And the car rides with Zuni-san, I was laughing when we were singing. It was like the last days of
When we were
the,
producing the documentary.
yes. No, no, we were actually done. We were done. We were done. I think we were coming from, there's another museum we went to. It was the last one where it was like all of us.
Monaco. Grimaldi
Yes, we
Forum.
went to Mon.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
we
was
went
Monet.
there.
Yeah, we went to
Oh
see.
my God. Oh my God. That day was so beautiful. That day was so beautiful from the start to the end. And yeah, and seeing Matisse. Yeah, no, Matisse also touched me. Yeah, Matisse, his work touched me. Yeah.
I have noticed lately, it's true because I've also noticed lately that you even went back and started reproducing or honoring pieces that you got to see during your stay in France. For example, just behind you right now, you have a piece that is inspired by Picasso.
Mm.
How talk to me about the pieces and in this period of, because it's been, the residency was in 2023. Why now? Why this recollection? What's happening at the moment?
Time is a strange thing, hey? And I always say, why not now?
Why not now?
Because why not now? Because when I was there, as much as I was trying to uh, create works that are influenced by the space that I'm there and experiencing, but it was not organic. Because when you force something, and my works, I'm spirit based and I'm led by spirit all the time. And this time it just came out organically because I was just going back. There's a term called sankofa, to go back and to retrieve. You pick up those bits and pieces, and as there are times in your life where you are existing and you are living right now, and the things that you are doing might not make sense, but you are planting seeds that you are going to reap actually later on. So it was those plants that I had planted in Nice that I was now reaping right now. I was like, okay, wow, this is my interpretation. This is also what I have experienced that is now speaking to me. And let me create this offering, this ode also.
I say this again, and I'll always say it. For me, you're with the residency for, I think it was a month, and it was like 8 weeks.
Yeah, it was almost 2 months. Yeah.
2 months, which is nothing, which is like literally a drop in the sea when you arrive in a foreign country. foreign language, foreign food, everything is just foreign, to be able to really grasp it. And I said it as well with Lesejo on the interview, is it for me, as much as I know that, you give your best during the residency, but I also know that, the works that are coming after the residency are going to have a much more bigger impact on what you lived, on what you experienced, because the mind, the body, and the soul does need time to digest things and to be able to appropriate whatever it is that you experience to yourself, to identity, so that when it comes out again, it comes out in a different format. I mean, like, I remember when we went to the Museum of Métis, the works that were exhibited during that period were works that he had collected of other artists when he traveled. And then the works that he produced inspired by those works. You remember? And that for me is exactly what, the transparency, the beauty of this residence is that afterwards you come back with these things back home in South Africa, and they're just sitting there. And as they're sitting there, it can be images, it can be objects or pictures that you took, but as they're sitting there, something else is being born, you know? And I'm loving the new works that you've produced as an offering to that experience. Siyabonga, siyabonga. You've had amazing opportunities after the residency. You've exhibited, for example, with Southern Guild, which is like amazing. Do you feel that the residency opened up new doors for you when it came to collaborations, when it came to acquiring new collectors, when it came to acquiring new people that were now interested and wanted to know more about your work?
Definitely, definitely. It opened doors and it gave me a platform where people were now aware of my existence, the offerings. And yes, I got an opportunity to show with Southern Guild and other galleries. And I worked with David. I worked with David Crute. So yeah, that was a beautiful relationship also because it's still there. And I got to showcase in Latitudes also last year, Latitudes Art Fair, which was amazing. So yes, it opened so many doors with galleries, with collectors, and just even people who are art lovers. It just broadened my audience furthermore.
Amazing. I love that for you. I love that for you so much.
Thank you.
What would you like people to take away when they are in front of Nthabiseng Boledi Kekana's work? What would you like them to take away from it?
And that's very deep. I want people to retrieve what was lost within themselves because I can't say what that specific thing is because we all have our different experiences and we all have different lived experiences. So it's for them taking what they need to take. It's for them to retrieve also themselves so they can better know the way forward and to return to their authentic selves is for the works to heal wounds. And it's for also the works to reawaken and to reawaken hidden wounds. So we can't have light without darkness. they both coexist. So I would end it there.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for being a beautiful part of Undiscovered Canvas, first and foremost, an amazing part of Makwande Art Residency. And now on the canvas. Thank you so much, Sissy.
Thank you. Thank you for creating space where we can come as ourselves, for creating a place where we can also grow, and for creating space where we are not only healing ourselves, but we're also healing those who are surrounding us, our community. For our communities, and making space where also our voices can be heard, and just also you showing up authentically and without any bias agenda behind it, just creating space that is of love and light.
Makwande.